Teauneuf du Pape. The name alone just sounds legendary, doesn't it? For a lot of us, it's one of the world's most revered and maybe, just maybe, one of the most intimidating wines out there. But what if you could pop the cork on one of these bottles and really, truly understand the story it's telling you? Well, today, we're going to do just that. We're breaking down exactly how to analyze this masterpiece from the Southern Rhone.
And hey, that's not just me saying it. When wine critics try to describe this stuff, they often just run out of words. This description of a classic vintage really nails that mystique. See, it's not just a drink. It's this incredibly complex work of art. And the thing is, like any great work of art, you just need to know what to look for. So today, we're going to learn how to read it. So here's our game plan. We're going to tackle this with 5 key steps. We'll start by uncorking its deep, fascinating history. Then we'll get our hands dirty, so to speak, with the unique land it comes from. After that, we'll decode the symphony of grapes in the blend, learn its signature aromas, and finally, get why the year on the bottle is so incredibly important. By the end of this, you'll have all the tools you need. Promise.
First up, history. You got to start here. Because to truly get Teauneuf du Pape, you need to understand that every single bottle is just steeped in centuries of tradition, of conflict, and yeah, even some pretty serious papal drama. The story starts way before anyone ever hits the bottle.
Okay, so the Romans got the ball rolling, but the story really catches fire in the 14th century. This is when the papacy moves from Rome to Avignon, and the popes build a summer palace, a new castle, or Châteauneuf, and they become huge fans of the local wine. Now let's fast forward to the 1930s. A local grower, Baron Leroy, is totally fed up with all the fraud going on. So he lays down this super strict set of rules for quality. And those rules, they became the blueprint for France's entire Appellation d'Origine Contrôlée system, the AOC system. Just think about that for a second. This one region literally wrote the rulebook for quality that all of French wine still follows today. That's incredible.
And that history we just talked about, it's literally rooted in the land itself. In the wine world, we call this terroir, that one-of-a-kind mix of soil, climate, and geography. And let me tell you, the terroir in Teauneuf du Pape is unlike anywhere else on this planet. The most iconic feature has to be this, the galets roulés. These are these large, smooth stones. People often call them pudding stones, and they just cover the ground in the best vineyards. And yeah, they look cool, but they are not just for show. Their function is absolutely vital. It's like a brilliant piece of natural engineering that totally defines the wine's character.
So here's the genius of it, this incredible dual-action system. During the day, these stones soak up that intense southern sun like a sponge. Then, at night, they radiate that heat back onto the vines. They're like perfect little storage heaters, making sure the grapes get perfectly ripe. But that's only half the story. Underneath, a deep layer of clay holds on to precious water, which keeps the vines hydrated and cool through those super hot, dry summers. It's just a masterpiece of natural design.
And speaking of this unique land, the locals can be, well, let's just say, uniquely protective of it. Get this. In 1954, after somebody apparently saw something in the sky, the mayor passed an official decree banning flying saucers from flying over, landing in, or taking off from the village's vineyards. I'm not kidding. That law is still on the books today. They are not taking any chances with their terroir.
All right, so we've got the history, we've got the land. Now let's talk about the fun part, the grapes. If the terroir is the canvas, then the blend is the winemaker's palette of colors, and it allows for this unbelievable range of expression.
Most famous wine regions are built on just a few grapes. Bordeaux has its main 5, Burgundy really only has 2, but Teauneuf du Pape, it officially permits a staggering 13 different grape varieties, reds and whites. This gives winemakers this enormous spice rack to play with, which is how they create such incredible complexity.
But even with all those options, there is one grape that is undeniably king of the castle. That's Grenache. It makes up about 2/3 of all the plantings in the region. It is the heart and soul of these red wines, giving them that classic warmth and generosity that we love.
So how do these grapes actually work together? Well, think of it like a perfectly balanced team, where the big 3 each have a crucial role to play. Grenache brings that plush, fruity body, right? It's the comfort. Then you've got Syrah, which adds backbone, a bit of spice, and those beautiful peppery floral notes. And then comes Mourvèdre, bringing in a darker, more brooding character. We're talking structure, complexity, and the power to age for decades.
Now, while most winemakers build their blends around that core trio, some go a completely different route, which just shows you the incredible diversity here. The legendary Château de Beaucastel is one of the very few estates that actually grows and uses all 13 permitted varieties in their final blend. I mean, can you imagine? It creates a wine of just mind-boggling complexity.
All right, time to get practical. You've poured a glass, you swirl it. What should you actually be smelling? Châteauneuf de Pape has some very distinct aromatic signatures that take you right back to its home in the south of France. So one of the most classic notes you're going to find, especially in those Grenache-heavy wines, is something called kirsch. Now, this isn't just your standard cherry smell. Think deeper, more luxurious, almost like a rich black cherry liqueur. That beautiful aroma? It's a direct result of those sun-drenched, perfectly ripened Grenache grapes.
And then there's my personal favorite, garrigue. It's a French word that doesn't really have a perfect English equivalent. It's the scent of the wild herbs that grow all over the landscape there. You know, rosemary, thyme, lavender, sage. It's that smell of the sun hitting the herbs. When you smell garrigue in your glass, you are literally smelling the Southern Rhone.
Okay, we're at our final step, and trust me, it's a huge one, the vintage. Every single thing we've talked about, the soil, the grapes, the winemaker's skill, it's all at the mercy of one thing, the weather. The year on that label tells you the whole story of that specific growing season. Let's just look at 3 quick examples to see how dramatic this difference can be. A year like 2010, near perfect. It produced these powerful, intense, structured wines that will literally age for an eternity. Then, a year like 2017, also really good, but it gave us wines that are more elegant and kind of ready to drink sooner. And then, well, then you have 2002, a complete and total disaster. It rained so much they nicknamed it the Noah's Ark vintage, and most of the wine wasn't even good enough to sell under the main label. See? The vintage is everything.
So there you have it. You're not just looking at a bottle of wine anymore, are you? You're looking at a piece of papal history, a unique geological wonder, a complex team of grape characters, and the dramatic story of one specific year's battle with Mother Nature. The only question left is, with all that in mind, what story will the next bottle you open tell you?